Howdy, everybody, and welcome to this evening's very special episode of Random Rhapsody. I am Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and GM here on the network, and joining me on the virtual table this evening are Alyssa, Joe, Jeremy, Koines, and Kyle. So go ahead and say hi, everybody. Absolutely. So, just to give you a little info, we changed things up a little bit, but I hope everybody enjoys the changes that we've made. So join us now as we dive into the world of Loroupa and continue on with the adventures of the Faab 5 campaign.
Here, hang on a second.
And we are back. So, when we last left off, the Faab 5 had traveled north into the mountains as they made their way towards the monastic village of Brantfordshire. After defeating a gang of vicious mountain sturges, the Faab 5 paused their climb up the mountain as they continued to consider how to proceed. With the knowledge that a sniper was hidden somewhere behind them and a difficult climb ahead, Liam attempted the diplomatic route by sending a message back to the sniper asking for parley. The group waited for an answer as the sun slowly dipped into the horizon, but as darkness overtook them, the Faab 5 decided to bed down for the night behind the safety of Veil's protective dome. During the rest, Blood and Veil received a message of a different sort from the archer. Eloise shook off another watchful presence that seems to be dogging her of late, and Apollyon ended up falling asleep during his watch. And as the day rose to greet them, the team discovered Apollyon's error as well as the fact that the camp was now littered with fallen arrows that circled them while they slept. With the threat still lingering in their minds, the Faab 5 elected to utilize Eloise's wild shape ability to scale the remaining cliffs in a spider form and ferry them up one by one while the rest of the group kept watch for any sign of the attacker. Blood from a Stone did manage to catch sight of something and take a shot, but his target only turned out to be a harmless little buddy. But as the Faab 5 resumed their trek up the snow-covered mountainside, and as they hiked, the group managed to find themselves face to face with a frost giant hunting party, along with several winter wolves in tow. The battle against the frost giants was fierce, and while the group emerged triumphant, there were several close calls for the group, and it was a hard victory to be won. With the giants and the wolves now slain, the group paused for a moment to assess their wounded as they considered where the next steps would take them in what this journey would be. And so, Faab 5. You are all standing in the same mountain pass. The air around you is chilly for most of you, and those of you that had wrapped yourselves in blankets would have no doubt dropped them in the previous battle. I'm sure you all spend a few minutes finding them and wrapping yourselves against the cold once again. And as you do, a question comes to each of your minds. The question is, What is the stereotypical group role? Blah, I said that really stupid, so let me try again. What is the stereotypical role you play in your group? Are you the mom? Are you the mess? Are you the comic relief? Who are you? And since Apollyon was the one who rolled it, I would like you to go first.
Well, all right. I guess you could say I'm pretty much the face of the group. I like to take care of everybody, just give everybody we come in contact with an ocular pat down and assess that threat. I would say I'm head of security in the group.
Interesting.
There are many hats I see.
So going around in the circle, next, Blood from a Stone. What is your role in the group?
Shit, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm that criminal brother that knows the underworld, so he keeps these people from fucking up too bad. I don't know. This is a difficult one for me. I don't know if I have a traditional role, as it were. But I'm that fuck up brother that gets in trouble a lot.
Okay, I got it. Eloise, how about you?
I'm the super naive to the world, sheltered, raised by a hippie parent child. That's all I can think.
Yeah. That is exactly who Eloise is. Spot on. Veil, how about you?
Say I'm the cocky guy who the group just deals with because I'm useful in combat and have some knowledge.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, Liam, take it away.
I suppose I'd be the drunk uncle. No one really cares that I'm there, and good for a laugh every once in a while.
I'd say nobody.
Interesting. Okay, I like it. Well, so, with all these thoughts drifting through your minds, you all gather together once again as you examine the huge forms of the giants around you. These things are massive creatures and are around about 20 feet or so tall. Their bodies a huge ripple of muscle and sinew, and they do wear a smattering of armor. It honestly looks like they take hides of animals and tan them and turn the whole thing into pieces of this patchwork armor. There's also the wolves that are lying on the ground dead as well as a few zombies that Veil had lost. The snow around you all is stained crimson in quite a few places, and the skies overhead now are becoming overcast with thick gray clouds. You can just barely see the sun right now, but Eloise, you can tell by the shifting of the wind and the scent of the air that those clouds are only going to get thicker as the day progresses. You would estimate that it is somewhere just before midday at this point, judging by what you can see of the sun. And so, what would you all like to do, Fab 5?
Loot the bodies? Of course. I mean,
Collect heads if we can. However, I am still blind.
Okay, yeah. Can you see your token itself? God damn.
No, I cannot.
Get to work on skinning the wolves. Maybe take their furs. You guys can wrap up in those.
Ooh. Oh, hey, yay! Now I can see.
Okay, I got it.
Dry them out.
So
obviously.
that new thing that we got to show radius of spells, it kind of broke my entire system. I'm just now realizing. So I'm going to have to go through. It's fine. I just wasn't expecting it. So we're going to have to do a little bit of troubleshooting because I didn't realize it happened until you guys logged in. So just bear with me today. We will try to get through it quickly. But if everybody can see now, you're good to go. And you're asking about the bodies. Now, like I said, they are 20-foot tall creatures. They are huge. You can look them over. Let's see here. The armor is big, and like I said, patchwork, and it's not really going to be worth anything. They do each have a massive great axe. This thing here is like two-handed for them, so it's like trying to wrap your hands around a lamppost.
Oh yeah.
They do have a bag on their belts, which they do wear belts as well, and on their belts in the bag, you do find about 50 gold apiece, 35 copper, 75 silver on but each one has about that, so you can add that together. They do each have a potion, which it is very big. It's actually probably like 3 times the size you would expect a normal one is. The potion itself is kind of a muddy brown, and I actually imagine it's probably about 2.5 feet tall. The glass itself. It's a big freaking potion. You kind of pull this out of the bag, and you're looking at it like, holy shit! This would be a little flask for them, but it's massive for you.
What was the coinage total again, real quick? And this is, I guess, times 2, really, right?
Yeah, 50 gold, 23 copper, 70 silver.
And that's for each or together?
Mm-hmm. Each.
Okay.
Each one had about that. So.
Okay.
I'm going to let go and dispel the call lightning spell that I had. So any storm clouds that were over us that are not natural will dissipate, hopefully.
They will. And like there was the big swirling clouds above you, and you do dissipate them, but there is still the clouds in the distance that are rolling in. You estimate it is definitely smelling like a storm to you, Eloise. I'm not going to make you roll a nature check for that. You can just tell because you're a druid. So there is a storm rolling in. How close it'll get to you, it depends on the wind. It depends on a lot of things, but it is probably going to head in your direction. You estimate it probably isn't going to hit until late nightfall.
I guess we can have would those potions fit in the handy haversack at all, or is that not? I mean, they're
big for that.
I guess
yeah.
they're 2.5 feet tall. I mean, I guess we'll just have to fucking lug these goddamn things around.
I mean, they would fit in the portable hole.
Oh, okay. So we can put them in there, and then we can figure out what they exactly are later.
Yep.
And they're both the same thing, that muddy brown?
Yeah, it's that muddy brown potion. Eloise, go ahead and... What skill do you use for your herbalism kit? Is that your wisdom?
Herbalism?
Yeah.
Probably, I think so.
And that's tied into your nature skill, correct? Wisdom is?
Yeah, either that or like medicine.
Well, go ahead. Yeah, you know what? That's a better idea. Go ahead and make a medicine check. That one makes more sense.
Okay. Not advantage. Okay. 15.
You unstopper it and kind of take a sniff and examine it a little bit, and you can tell with your 15 that it's made to be a healing potion. You can smell some of the same herbs that you've used to make your potions. It's definitely homemade. These giants probably have somewhere where they made it, and it's questionable to your mind. It might work just fine, but at the same time, there's always that dice roll when it comes to people making things at home. Hey, Anesthetic, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'm glad everything sounded great. So what do you want to do?
Well, this looks like was supposed to be a healing potion.
They just fucked it up. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I don't know, but it's definitely not the same.
Would it kill us if we tried to drink it?
I mean,
Tell you what, we won't drink it then. We'll
Okay.
put it in the hole. We'll figure out a use for it.
It's always
Maybe
just
we
a dice
can-
roll.
Yeah, we'll find out if it's safe.
Okay.
That's what, 2.5 feet tall, you said, for the friggin' bottle? I mean, it's only...
Yeah, there's quite a bit of liquid in there.
You could dump that out into a shitload of, actual regular bottles, but we'll wait, see if it's any good. I
I
guess.
forget. I don't think I did. Did I take the potion of spider climbing? I don't think I did I?
No,
I
you
had
never did.
asked. Yeah, I had asked about taking it as a bonus action, and then I never did.
Yeah, it's a climb up, I guess, these walls, I think.
Okay. Yes, because then I decided to call lightning instead. Yes, I remember now. Okay, cool.
Yes, instead of a potion of spider climb, you just became a spider that could climb.
That's right.
Yeah, you did do that. So I guess are we taking ears off the giants and whatever we can get off the wolves? We can probably take their heads, but if you want to try and take their pelts,
So
I mean, we don't have
While everyone's
anywhere
doing
to stretch them and tan them or anything, and we
Yes, well-
don't have.
we can put them in the bag of holding for now.
This is true.
this entire time, Veil was uninterested in these corpses and ritually casting Find Familiar.
So
to
I
get
will
Jareth back.
I will point out, Vale, that it does take an hour to cast Find Familiar. So you're sitting down and doing this for an hour?
Yeah, we can.
Well, so as everyone was going around looting and figuring out what they were doing, that's when I started it. So
Okay, so
No.
probably it's been about 20 minutes that the group has been looting the bodies. So they look around and they notice that Vale has just sat down and he's in the middle of a ritual. His little brazier is between his legs. He has the incense burning, and there's a little bit of smoke trailing up into the sky from him right now as he's casting a spell.
Is that what he calls it? His brazier, huh?
Isn't that what
I'll
it
take-
is?
yeah.
The
he's
way you
just
said it,
fucking-
his brazier's between his legs. I was like, oh, is that what he calls it?
I'll take the components off.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and take the
So-
components off.
Now I have 8 of them.
I guess Liam's got the knife if he and Eloise want to work on the wolves. And I just started looking around to see clues if our archer friend has been in the area or where these guys came from, where the giants were coming from.
Well, sounds like that's two different checks. So
Well,
which,
how about I
which
do
one
where
do
the
you...
giants are coming from to see if I can figure out if there's going to be more coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make a perception check, looking for the tracks of the giants.
I gotta turn it
Liam,
up.
and are you guys actually going to
Yeah,
try
I'm
to?
gonna try and take the pelts of these things, and that knife gives me advantage on that, right?
Yeah,
It does.
16
So-
on my perception.
Okay, so as I said, things are about 20 feet tall. They're pretty fucking big.
Wolves are?
Oh,
No,
the wolves? I thought you were talking about the giants.
No,
Sorry.
Their skin.
Okay, I misunderstood completely. My mistake. There are 4 wolves. It'd probably take you, you've got the knife. You're a little bit skilled. Go
I'll
ahead.
assist.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and make a survival check with advantage.
19 either way.
That's funny. So Liam and Eloise get settled in, start cutting away with the knife, pulling off, and these are big, shaggy, thick wolf pelts, bright white with a tinge of blue in the fur. They're very beautiful. As you begin cutting into it, Liam, the blood pours out, and at first you're expecting it to be hot because these are animals, but the moment it hits your skin, it's cold, and you pull back. Make me a dex saving throw, please.
What's the saving throw again? I didn't hear that.
A dexterity
Dex.
saving throw.
Oh, dexterity, fun.
What?
All right.
Like, what the fuck are we going on with this blood? Ooh, that's good.
That's a 26.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You pull your hand. First start slicing along the pelt, and you see that burst of blood, and it hits your skin, and you pull back quickly. Only a little bit hits you. It only actually does 2 points of damage to you. But it burns your skin a little bit, and you cry out, "Ah, fuck!" Because it's like what your fingers touching dry ice. That hurt.
Well, maybe I should be the main cutter, and you can help me hold the fur from the the furry side.
I don't think it's I don't think we should be cutting into these things. That's more than just cold. That's freezing cold there.
Well, we could just take their heads.
But back to you, Blood. You were searching the area looking for tracks, and it's not difficult to spot their tracks. The higher up you guys have all been getting into the mountain, the more snow that's there. And while it's patchy in places, you can definitely spot boot prints and paw prints of the wolves. They seem to be coming from the west, heading to the east. And you only go about maybe 5 minutes away, going around the curve of the mountainside, and you're kind of following it, and they do seem to trail off further to the west, but you don't want to go too far away from the rest of your group.
All right. I mean, does it look like there's more activity, or is it just these guys are traveled across? I can't tell if there are potentially others in the area.
Make an insight check.
Ooh, that's actually a decent one. No, it's not.
Yep,
Nice.
dry ice, Blood Anon. It's really hard to tell. The tracks seem to just go off into the distance, and there's no way to tell if they came from an hour away, a day away, a minute away. You could keep following it for as long as you want if you want to try to find them. It's up to you.
Nah, he'll come back. He's not going to split himself off from the party.
Well, you say that. But you do manage to get back to the group about 10 minutes later, and Liam and Eloise are working together. Liam pulling the fur back from the thing, I guess, trying to keep away. Is that what? And Eloise is still cutting. Is that what you two are doing?
Yeah, if that's the way it's gonna work, I guess. Sure.
And while this is all happening, Apollyon, what's going on with you, buddy?
Apollyon's trying on their belts and lift their weapons.
So the belts are very big. You could probably wrap it around your waist 3 times and still not be able to buckle it completely. It's huge. The weapons themselves are also very, very massive. But go ahead and give me a strength check.
All right.
Looking for a belt of giant strength. Is that what he's looking for?
Woo! Oh, sorry, that was a strength save, so it should be 3 less. But
25.
Still a nat 20.
Yeah, still a nat 20. So yeah, Liam is over there pulling back on the fur. Eloise is holding the knife and cutting along, and you have a resistance to cold as it is, Eloise. You're being very careful now that first initial blood spurt came out, and it's a little easier to manage at this point now. You're cutting along, and you're being very careful not to let the blood come into contact with your scales. So I'm not going to have you roll for any more damage. You're both being very careful at this point. It was just more of that shock and awe of the initial. But once you know that the blood is pretty dangerous, you're doing a much better job. And with the 19s you guys rolled earlier, yes, you are able to get through and finish cutting off the hide. Now, while the two of you are doing this, Apollyon just heaves this giant, massive battle axe. He's holding it. It's almost like a small tree trunk, a little bit, but he's holding it up and he's swinging it wildly around.
Woo! I hope we encounter some more of these jabronis. I want to use this against them.
It's heavy, but you're Apollyon and you're strong, and if you really want to carry it with you, you can. It's not going to fit in any of your bags. I can tell you that with certainty.
It looks like a bit impractical, my friend.
But as you're all watching this, poof, Veil's bird appears in the brazier, and he has his owl back.
All right, I take the great axe and I'll make like a running throw, like a javelin throw, and try to throw it off the mountain, back down the way we came.
So you're throwing a great axe like a javelin over the side. I love it. I love it. Go ahead and give me your athletics check. But I am going to point out it was really, really heavy. So you're going to be doing this at disadvantage.
Yeah, I imagine him doing it like he's spinning around, like getting like the big heavy weight toss thing.
I was more imagining, the Scottish dudes who have to launch the logs. I was imagining it more like that.
Yeah, I was imagining like he has it like at an angle, like the base of it's kind of like at his waist, and he's holding it down there to support the weight, and he's gonna run and like shove it kind of into the air.
Yeah, I love it. Roll athletics, disadvantage.
Oh, please.
Still with an 18. You launch this great axe, and you just go flying in an arc. Now, I mean, it doesn't go far, but it goes farther than anyone was expecting it to. And it just goes arcing off over the cliffs, and it ends up flying down to that area with the steep cliffs that you all have to climb. It hits that, bounces off the edge, and goes tumbling down to the bottom.
Awesome.
I like it.
So what should I call these pelts?
These are Winterwolf pelts.
Winterwolf.
You're able to get one cut up by the time Veil got his owl back.
One in an hour?
Yes. It's difficult.
Wow.
We got to be super careful with their danger blood.
Oh yeah.
All right. Do we want to go for all of their pelts, or?
It's 3 hours. I mean, it's up to you guys. I'll stay if you want.
What's the storm look like? Does it look closer now? Like it's moving up as fast? Can I make a perception for that?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception for that.
Alright, that's a nat 2 for a 6. Looks the same to me.
Yeah, looks the same to you, buddy. They're clouds. Why do you care? You got better things to do. But it is. It's been about an hour.
Hurts.
Yeah, your hand hurts. It's kind of. You're still shaking it. It's a little discolored from the blood. I don't know if anybody's ever had a wart burnt off, but you have a little bit of that splattering about your fingers. You're muted, Kyle.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to use this time that everybody's describing my pain to use the epitaph of healing that I have. So I roll a d6 for that, right?
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
As soon as the ritual's done and the Jareth bursts out of the brazier, he flies up straight into a huge winding arc and just lands right on Eloise's shoulder and kind of nips at her playfully.
I'm just gonna like scratch him like on the tummy and right up under his chin.
And Veil just, with his hands up after he's just completed the ritual, sees this happen and just rolls his eyes and kind of slinks back into his zombie throne.
And the zombies kind of mold themselves and get ready, and you sit down like a regal king, and they lift you up. What's the bad guy from 300?
Xerxes the
yes.
Conqueror.
That's
Yes.
exactly what he's fucking going for too.
Yeah,
That's
that
what
is.
I'm going for.
Yeah, and he pulls it off, except it's done by My Chemical Romance.
Xerxes. Xerxes.
Yep, Xerxes by
Yes,
My
yes, it
Chemical
is.
Romance. That's exactly what it is. Somebody draw this, please.
Oh my god. How big are these wolves? Like, how big is this pelt?
It's decent size. These are large. What are these considered? I believe they're large.
They look large. Yeah.
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
large. These are large creatures. So it's bigger than a warg pelt. It's pretty decent size. You estimate probably about 8 feet in length, and maybe another 6 in width. You could probably make a full-on cloak if you wanted to.
That's what I was
going
gonna
to
ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
You absolutely could, or you could use it to line your clothes or things like that, or who knows what kind of properties it might have.
We're just gonna have to find someone who knows how to tan something that is as cold as I am. Or colder. Probably colder.
The difficulty of retrieving them makes it kind of worth it to do at least one more. I'd like to take another hour to remove one more pelt. If everyone agrees to that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
So if that's the case, then Veil is going to take a short rest for an hour.
Probably a good idea.
And I could take one to get the 1 hit point from Eloise slapping me. But no,
That was when you weren't here, Eloise.
Okay.
So
I killed the
this
bunny.
was me puppeting you in the moment.
yeah.
But
Okay. I was
while
like,
while you were ferrying people up and down the cliff, he was watching, looking for any sign of the archer. He saw movement and shot and killed a harmless little bunny. And
But it
you
was
got
like
upset and you slapped him across the face.
It was like almost a 300-foot shot. So I mean, come on, it was a damn good shot.
Did we at least eat the bunny afterwards?
Oh no, it was down the
No, it was 300 feet down
Okay,
from
then
a
that
cliff.
is slap worthy. Yes, I agree to the slap.
Something else ate that bunny.
Okay, the only problem is now that because my old token was deleted, I don't know how many hit points I was at.
Traves. You had taken some damage. I know
It
that.
changed
You were
it on
pretty
your
low.
sheet too?
63 in a
No, every time I change it on my token, my sheet goes blank in the hit points.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it keeps
it's
my
because-
maximum.
It's
But-
because you're supposed to be using the sheet and I'm supposed to be using the circle.
Yeah.
If you change it on the sheet, it automatically
Uh-huh.
changes it in the circle.
Learn something new every day.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, while they're spending their time, I'll just start. I guess what way we came from the south here, correct? And
Yeah.
we are continuing. Are we going north or are we going northeast, like where the giants were going?
So you guys had been heading more towards the east. I'll actually go ahead and pop you up a map here real quick.
Okay. Because I'll start scouting ahead a little bit. see
I'll
if I
just
can't
scroll through chat to see when I took damage.
Get
Yeah,
eyes on.
I know you took some decent damage. You're probably
Mhm.
at half or less, but I'm not 100% sure.
yeah, you
But this
took like
this was the old map. But if you look at it, I imagine you guys had gone from the upper part of the lake there.
Mhm.
You had climbed up through the mountain. You're kind of winding, trying to keep more heading to the northeast. That way you could get towards Bradfordshire quicker. So you're probably right at the top of the mountain area. Like there's the peak up there. You are maybe a little bit to the right of that, heading
Okay.
in that area. If you continue on to the east, to the northeast, you'll eventually circle around and start heading down. So
Alright.
you're at the highest elevation you need to be without
We just
heading
have to-
to the top.
We just have to start making our way on the other side. Of
Yeah,
it.
you have to make it across the level area of the mountain now and start heading downwards down the slope again. You estimate probably about 2 more days of your journey if you keep a quick pace.
Alright, well then, I guess this Apollyon, are you going to take a short rest to get hit dice? Use up.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well then blood will go alone. He's just going to start off going in that direction. He's going to look for tracks of other kinds. Really, he's trying to see if that fucking archer's been in the area, but he wants to see if there's any dangers ahead.
Okay, so you're scouting out the route ahead. I like it. Go ahead and make a survival check for me.
Come on, Ranger.
Oh my god, another one, and that's 2 1s in a row for me. It's a 6.
Wow. So you head off to the east, looking around, trying to find, just keeping an eye out for the archer, keeping an eye out for any signs of movement. Unfortunately, that you don't spot anything. It's just a lot of snow, a little bit of brush, not a whole lot.
Yeah, snow is going to cover up a lot of... I mean, even with the shit roll, snow is going to cover a lot of fucking crap. Yeah. All right. Plus, we haven't really gotten to roleplay any of his ranger stuff, so I'm going to play it off that he doesn't know it yet. That's my excuse for the bad roll.
Yeah, sure, why not? Eloise, as you're helping, you and Liam were working to get that second wolf pelt. Since you're the one cutting this time, you make the survival check with advantage.
Okay. Survival, or can I use medicine?
Feature.
Yeah, I suppose you could use medicine for that. I'll allow that.
Yay, thank you.
Nothing like drinking whiskey out of a...
Oh dear God, I need to scroll all the way back down. Hold on.
Yeah. You know what you're doing now. You know exactly what you're looking for working with this wolf. So while Liam is pulling the fur back to help you cut, you're cutting a super swift motion with that chef's knife and just easily getting the hide off that. It does take another hour, and while you're working on that, everyone else is getting a long rest in. But you do manage to do that. I also need you to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Wisdom saving throw. Okay.
Just her?
Yeah.
26.
Nice.
As you're working on the wolf, you look over your shoulder, and there's Veil kind of sitting there doing his meditative trance. And for a second, you thought he was staring at you, but he definitely isn't. He's doing his own meditation thing and not really looking at anyone. He's just sitting in the zombie chair. But for a second, you could have sworn somebody was looking directly over your shoulder. But it's gone now.
Okay.
Stop crying.
I'm gonna look over at Jareth, who's on my shoulder. Like, did you feel that? Do you see anything?
Jareth just looks at you blankly.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Hoots at you.
He blinks. So I just wanted to clarify what I was doing. Right before I took my short rest, I cast my last Animate Dead at level 3 spell. Brought back 1 zombie and 1 skeleton from the pile of bones. If you ruled that I could bring that skeleton back. I know we had some...
I'll allow you to draw a skeleton from a zombie, but then after the skeleton is destroyed, that's it.
Oh.
No, so last game, yeah, remember that big, or the one we had that side story?
Oh, that one?
Yeah, so I remember you had me roll, I just don't remember what came of it.
I thought you said he could make another zombie out of the bones, but I don't remember. I have to go back and watch.
Yes.
I mean, skeleton.
Okay, yeah, so this is what...
that you could.
Yeah.
Skeleton out, yeah.
So we rolled that. I don't remember, honestly. I could always go look at the other stream, but it's not that important. Here's what I'm going to say. Make an Arcana check.
That might be what he had to do.
It was a 24.
Okay, you go after doing your meditation or whatever it is you're going to be doing.
It was right before I did the meditation.
Right before you did that. You go over and examine the skeleton, and it was hit by a rock. I seem to recall, and if I remember my description correctly, I said it took it out like 9 pins.
Yes.
So the bones are still there. Some of them are very cracked. Some of them seem to be splintering a little bit. But you estimate you could revive it one more time.
Okay.
Any more damage to this thing and it's going to be irreparably destroyed. But for some strange reason, this particular skeleton seems a little more hardy and resistant, and the rock didn't crush the bones as badly as they could have.
Power of
Okay.
love, man.
So right before my trance, I cast Animate Dead at 3rd level. I brought back 1 zombie and the skeleton. Then I go into my trance, and I will be using my
Arcane Recovery? Yep.
So I'm getting 3 level. Oh, hold on. I think I might have done that wrong. 1 level 3 spell slot, and then 1 level 1 spell slot back.
Okay. Is anybody doing anything else during the short rest?
No, I'm pretty occupied.
Apollyon?
No, I'm just resting, relaxing.
Okay. So Blood eventually returns to the group and reports that he really didn't see anything as far as trail up ahead. Your long rest is complete.
Sure.
And it is now probably about mid-afternoon. The storm is getting a little bit closer, but you do estimate you have quite a bit of time before it hits in your area. So what do you want to do?
Did we collect the giant ears, an ear from each of the giants, and
Yeah, I believe we did
the
that.
head of the 2 other wolves?
You could have done that in the last hour. I'll allow.
Cool. Alright, I shall add them to the list.
So are you just continuing on down the mountain?
So we've been climbing up. Are we going to go to the side of it now, or do we still need to go up? I don't remember.
Yeah, so you did do a pretty big scale, and then you walked around for another hour or so, going up a series of more ledge trails than anything else. You're at a point where you're almost to a level field of elevation, and if you continue on going to the northeast, you can kind of go around the peak itself. You don't have to get any higher right now. You just kind of have to continue along the side of the mountain until you get to the point where you can start descending again.
All right. So I say we walk.
So yeah, it's definitely leveling out right now.
Only forward we go. Bradfordshire over the hills. 2 days, maybe 3.
Okay. So you all continue to hike up along the mountain, following the ridge of the cliff as you make your way into the afternoon. You continue to go at a slight incline, not anything too severe. Go ahead, everybody, and give me athletics checks. Those of you who
Climbing speed.
Those of you who have the climbing speed, you get that with advantage. Abilities you use can add to that. Now, as you are climbing higher, the air is getting a little thinner and a little colder. There is more snow on the ground the further you travel, and the clouds overhead continue to roll in, just as Eloise had predicted. Let's see here. So what are your athletics checks?
Natural 1 for a 3.
14 for the zombie.
I had a 10. Right there in the middle.
18 for me, boss.
Okay.
I mean, if I feel the struggle and I see a bunch of us struggling enough, I'm gonna wild shape again.
Okay.
At least for
What-
4 hours.
What are you going to be wild shaping into?
As the goat, I could carry one person. As the giant spider, could I carry 2?
Let's see. What was the goat? Was what size?
I have no
Let's
idea.
see. I have it. Just give me a second.
It is a giant goat.
Yeah, they're both large beasts. So they're decent size. They're about the size of a horse, give or take. You couldn't carry 2 people unless both of them were really, really small. So, like, you could carry 2 halflings, or maybe a dwarf and a halfling if you wanted to argue it, but most of y'all are pretty big. I mean
Yeah.
well,
Blood is slave
Blood
with
is
the
a
yoke around.
tabaxi. Blood is a cat. Cats are not heavy.
Thank you.
how much do you weigh, Blood from a Stone? And how much do you weigh, Liam?
It's not on here, but it's
It's not something you ask a lady.
Well, I'm not.
I think I went like 180 for blood.
So you're a heavy kitty.
I don't
Well-
see it written down, but I believe I'm 160.
So yeah, and how much? What's your strength as a?
I have an
goat?
8.
Let's
Oh.
see. A goat's strength is a
I have it
17. A spider's a 14.
Let's gotta get to the gym and put on some gains.
Yeah, like I said, you can carry one of them, no problem. 2 would be kind of pushing it.
Okay.
You wouldn't have advantage anymore.
Take the monk.
Okay. I'll shift into a giant goat,
Okay.
and I'll carry Liam.
You shift into a goat, big, almost horse-like in a way, but it has those weird eyes. It's always funky. Liam, you're able to climb on. Blood, the trail is slow and exhausting for you. Apollyon, no problem. And Veil, your zombies are a little slow in the snow, but not too bad. And for the most part, you all are able to make it over the next 3 hours with little difficulty. As I said, it is getting colder. The snow is a little bit thicker the higher and the farther you go up along the side of the mountain. And travel is a bit slow because of that. But you do continue on for the next 3 hours, making your way along the path. As the darkness kind of continues to come in, as you travel, because you started out about 2:30, so it's getting around the edge of the evening, and the sun is just beginning to set, but with the clouds overhead, the whole sky is nothing but reds and purples. It's quite beautiful. And you do see the occasional flake coming down as you get to that point where you're starting to see over the ridge, and you can see the other side of the mountain at this point. At the very edge of your distance to the northeast, you can see the mesa that is the town of Bradfordshire. It's very distant. You can only barely make out that anything's really there, but you can see it just a little bit. And you can see that where you all are right now, yeah, probably about 2 days traveling down to there to get to the town itself. Do you want to continue on for another few hours? Because there is still light. You could probably make it another 3 if you push yourself.
At this point, I'd like to stand up on Eloise's back and do a perception backwards to see if anybody's following us.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
15.
Not bad. You're looking back behind you all as you're standing there looking out, seeing the side of the mountain now. you don't see any movement behind you. There, you do see a bird flying overhead. A small one. Nothing too crazy. But that's really about it.
Is it Jareth?
It is not Jareth. It is. It's just a hawk.
Wow.
I would say,
On a hunch. I'd like you to send Jareth to go check out that bird, just on a hunch.
all right. I was going to say Jareth was going to go and scout ahead, but with that, I'll kind of mentally command, with Liam saying that Veil will mentally command Jareth to go do a flyby with that bird, and see if it's in fact a bird of the wild.
Okay. You send Jareth off, and it goes flying up, chasing after this bird, which is going pretty fast. What is Jareth's fly speed?
60 feet.
Okay. So you send Jareth up, flying after it, and it does take... You watch as the two of them are going overhead. They both fly at about the same speed. And Jareth is keeping pace with it, but he's not really gaining any ground. The hawk will eventually move to one side, circle, and Jareth can get a little bit closer, and a little bit closer. Go ahead and make your perception check as Jareth.
That is a 17.
And I imagine you're kind of looking through Jareth's eyes at this point, because you're
Yes.
not too far. You do have a bit of a range, like 150 or something like that feet, that
Yeah,
you can keep in
like that.
contact. And you're looking through Jareth's eyes as every time the bird banks, you get a little closer. It banks again, you're getting a little closer, and it's circling round and round. In the patterns that it's moving, you can tell it's just a hawk.
All right. And I relay that message, and I summon Jareth back. Just a hawk. Liam.
And there was no one commanding it.
It's just a hawk.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but all I know is it was just a hawk.
Very well.
Okay, so are you all wanting to continue for? You can probably make it another 3 hours before
Yes.
it gets too dark to travel.
Veil votes yes. He's getting a little cramped in this chair. He needs some movement.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Go ahead and everybody give me their athletics checks one more time. Those with advantage get advantage. Eloise, you do get your advantage as a goat.
Oh my
Ooh.
god, another nat one.
No, you're riding her, aren't you? So would you roll it all?
No, you don't need to roll at all, which is a good thing.
Oh,
You get down and you try, and you start walking, and you immediately slip and go face first into the snow. And Eloise just kind of trots up alongside and nudges you a little bit with her head, with her horns, and is like, "Get on, bitch!" And you very sheepishly get on the goat.
Pun intended.
Yep.
Veil's zombie got a 3.
Ugh. God damn. So as you all are walking, the snow is getting thicker and thicker, and it is getting colder, and you are starting to see quite a bit more flakes appearing overhead, and is beginning to fall in a little bit of a light flurry. The clouds that are coming in are rolling overhead are getting thicker and thicker, and you're bracing for a decent storm. Blood, you're fine. You're fine through this. The entire journey is a little slow because with the flurries and with the cold, none of you are moving very fast. The temperature is definitely dropping. Apollyon, even you are starting to feel the absolute exhaustion from going in this cold weather. And then you all hear a snap as two zombies break their legs and go tumbling down, and the entire zombie horde just pitches forward, and Veil, you go flying from your seat. Make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh shit!
All right.
Like you get a flat tire.
There's a natural one.
You absolutely face plant.
Everybody nat ones.
You absolutely face plant in the snow. Luckily, it's thick and it cushions you so you don't take damage, but you all just look up. Everyone looks back as you see Veil's head just come up fully caked in snow, a fresh powder that's been falling for quite a bit of time, because I imagine you're about halfway through your walk at this point, and he is just covered in snow. The blanket around him is icy cold because it was probably pretty wet from the previous walk, and your teeth are chattering, Veil, as you're trying to push yourself up to all fours.
My only thought seeing all of this is he might actually enjoy killing these zombies.
So Veil gets himself up eventually and takes his sleeves and he wipes the snow off his face, keeps his head down and does not make eye contact with any members of the group. He doesn't even want to see if they saw, but he knows they did. And he trudges through the snow, reveals the dagger and right to the base of the skull with these two. Walks up to the zombies as they're assembling this throne. He wipes his dagger off on one of their shirts, looks it in the eye and sheaths it, and continues to climb back upon his throne.
And the zombie that he wipes the dagger on just happens to be one of those robed individuals from under the lake.
Okay.
Because those are some of the zombies you had.
Yep. So I'm going to take two of these off. So I'm going to take.
Yep. Take two of them off.
I'll just do one from each side. So my left and right, they will have one will be off of each side. So it's going to be. I have it written down on a piece of paper what it looks like. One's in the front, two are on each side, and three are on the back.
I love it. Okay. But you do finish your climb, or eventually your walk, I should say, because you're not really climbing at this point. The ground has definitely leveled out at this point of the mountain. You can see to your left, to the west, the peak of the mountain still rising up ahead of you. You can see to your right, to the east, it going downward towards another peak that heads up again. And there at the edge, heading to the northeast, you can see the sign, or at least you would have. You saw it earlier, but it's getting dark now, so you probably can't see it. But you might be able to see a little bit of light. I don't know. Anyway, there is Bradfordshire off in the distance, a couple days away. But it is dark now. All of your dark visions are coming into focus once again. The air is cold. Everybody but Eloise is chattering at this point. But
so I'm going to with my prestidigitation, I'm going to cast it 3 separate times to hold a on my blanket, so it's basically a heated blanket now.
Okay. Yeah.
So three 5 foot square or spots. I believe it's 5 foot. Hold on a second. It is
1 cubic foot of non-living material for 1 hour.
So it's 3 cubic feet of the blanket are now heated.
And they're just slightly warming you up. I like it. Kind of like little hand warmers.
Yep.
Okay. It is getting darker. You estimate probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Probably pushing 9 o'clock at this point. And those of you who, even Eloise probably has a few icicles hanging from different parts of her. Because it is cold, it is wet, and the snow's coming down much harder at this point. but
Fine.
are
we?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, are we going to be sleeping in another bubble?
Yes.
Okay. Do we want me to look for wood to create a fire anyways, or no?
I would say no because it's comfortable and dry in that tiny hut.
Yeah, he can control the temperature, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's dry and comfortable.
Okay. So you all sit down and prepare to bed for the evening. Veil begins his ritual to create his dome. And what is everybody else doing? None of you are really hungry because Eloise has been creating good berries to feed you each morning. Yep, so you're not hungry. It's enough nourishment for one day.
Yeah. And I think each spell, does it create 10 good berries?
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Yeah, so I still have 5 good berries from this morning that we could eat before they go poof.
Yeah, if anyone's feeling peckish.
But yeah, other than that, I'll just produce flames in my hands with my cantrip for a few seconds just to get them warm, and then I'll just once I extinguish them, I'll quickly grab 2 people's hands and just be like, here, hold my warm hands.
Roasted good berries, nice.
I like it.
And I'll just play around with my forgery kit.
I figure I'm probably just wondering if Gravel's alright.
Yeah, it is a wonder. It's been, 4 days since you left Tomas's company, if I'm not mistaken? So by your estimate, he's probably getting around the edge of the mountains, at his closest point in near Laverin. So, who knows? You'll find out when you all reconnect, I suppose. But snow is definitely beginning to fall heavier at this point as you're setting up camp for the night. The temperature is dropping as well, but fortunately you have the comfort of Veil's dome to keep you all warm. The only problem is that with the falling snow, it's also covering up the top of the dome, giving you basically like an igloo kind of vibe. If you're planning on keeping watch, you'll have to either do it from by clearing away like spots, like little holes to look out of, or you're going to have to do it outside of the dome itself. But what I know you said, Blood, you want to work on your forgery kit. What does everybody else want to do for the evening?
I'm just going to bed.
Can I become unattuned from the crown of the deep?
The curse.
Yeah, you cannot.
Okay.
Well, you can become unattuned to it, and you can take it off, but the curse remains. You always have to have it in your possession, and you want to. You don't want to unattune to it. Not really.
Oh, okay.
You kind of like it.
Fuck.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll just be in the corner, like sitting down cross-legged, mumbling like.
Yeah, probably. And everyone hears that and just sees that weird misshapen, like acid thrown in the face look of Apollyon. His one eye up high, his other low, his mouth drooping and weird, his ears like hanging barely at their sides. It's there's eyes popping out in random places, and all of the skin just moves randomly as though there are things underneath it crawling around. It's off-putting and hard to look at times.
I like to think that Veil finds a little bit of comfort in looking at Apollyon.
Maybe. So, Blood, go ahead and roll to work with your what is it? Your forger's kit. Give me, what have I been having you do?
You've been having me do performance, but I was going to ask if I could just do straight intelligence checks for it.
Why would you just use straight intelligence checks?
Because he's he's using. I mean, because it doesn't necessarily have to be performance, because he's not really performing anything. He's just trying to copy handwriting.
But I feel like copying a handwriting is a performance. You're not just you're not just writing on paper. You're trying to mimic someone else's stroke. So you're having to copy, and it's almost like you know how samurais practice calligraphy. It's a little bit like that.
Yeah,
So
that's not
so
performance.
Could there be an argument for it to be
That would
a
be studying,
dexterity-based thing then?
well, no, because you're not trying to do it quick. You're trying to do it just right, and that
Trying to use deft of hand.
yeah, performance to me is like if you were making a piece of art. If you're painting a picture, you would use performance, and this is basically the same thing.
Well, that's an 8, so he failed.
Yeah. So sorry, like I get where you're coming from, but this is less of a study type of thing, which would be intelligence based, and more of trying to replicate something. So it's more of an art form. Does that make sense?
I mean, I see what you're saying. I would still argue intelligence, but I will take
That's because that's the
you're
better
the DM.
roll. That's because it's a better roll for you.
It's a +2, so it wouldn't have been anything.
Well-
but I would say
there you go, then.
intelligence would be better for this type of work. But that's just my opinion. You're the DM, so it's your choice.
Yeah, that's how it interprets in my brain. Anyway, but yeah, you are working with it, and it's not coming to you today, unfortunately. You're trying your best. You're mimicking the lettering, and you can do it, but you have to do each letter individually, and it looks less of a fluid hand writing and more of just someone copying letters. But you're getting there.
Can Veil work on his Orcish again? So he passed the 6 checks, but it's a general understanding of the language and not full. I'd like to just work on that again a little bit more.
You can continue on studying the book to get better at it. Yes, go ahead, and this is more the intelligence base because you're reading, you're studying, and that sort of thing.
Yep. So do you want history or Arcana? I don't remember which one it was.
No,
They're
I've
both the
just
same
been
for
having
me.
you. I've just been having you roll intelligence checks, honestly.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what it was. All right, so that's a 14.
14. You're continuing to study the book, and you're doing a good job, and you're getting the idiosyncrasies of the language a little bit better as you study. As you finish and read to the end of the book, you kind of realize that this book has helped a lot, and it's given you the basics of the language. If you want to study it further, you can study this book further and get a little bit better with the knowledge you have. But you probably also want to do some research and find more books on the language, just to get because you know when you're studying French, you don't just study one book over and over again. You keep picking up more books with more language and more grammar and more things like that to become better at it. You go through 4 years of French. So you're continuing on, and you're definitely getting a good idea of how to do the words in this book. But studying it past a certain point, you're not going to get too much more.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Eloise, after giving everyone a little warming with your fiery hands, you go to one corner of the dome and start setting up a camp for the evening. Go ahead and give me another wisdom saving throw, because as you're putting the bedroll down and putting your pillow next to it and kind of plumping it a little bit, you look back, and for a second you could have sworn that Liam was staring at you. So make a wisdom saving throw.
14.
And it's not Liam. He's right now sitting there going through his pack. And you look over at Apollyon, and it's hard to tell who Apollyon's looking at. And Veil's, reading his book, and Blood is sitting there writing on his paper with his forger's kit. No one's really looking in your direction, but I could have sworn somebody was.
Does it feel like malicious?
Make an insight check.
Okay. Insight. 13.
It doesn't feel malicious to you. It honestly just felt like you could have sworn somebody in the group was staring at you. But then when you look around, nobody's there, and it's just odd. Like it's something on the back of your brain that's itching you a little bit. But after about 10-15 minutes or so, the sensation goes away and you don't feel it anymore.
Okay, does seriously nobody else feel that? Like, does nobody else feel like they're being watched? Like, if I had hair, it'd all be like standing up right now. Does anybody else?
Bill walks over to Eloise and kind of kneels down and says, "What are you talking about?"
I swear, like, every day, multiple times a day, it's just like I'm being stared at. It feels like I'm being stared at, like, really intensely, but, like, there's nobody.
And and when you look, nobody's looking at you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Where are you feeling this? Is this more of like a sixth sense type thing where you're feeling it happen and you think it's coming from somewhere else, or do you think it's coming from our general vicinity?
I don't know.
Is there a way I could do an arcana to see, or something to see if this is in fact the scrying spell?
Yeah, go ahead and make an arcana check.
That's a 15, but I'm going to use a luck point to re-roll that. It's a 24.
Okay. So, listening to what Eloise has described to you, you do know the scry spell. You've heard of it before. While you personally have never used it, you do know of it from your studies. And it does sound like a little bit of what was described in those books, that whenever you cast a scrying spell, you're focusing in on an individual. They can't see anything. You only see a little bit of the surroundings, not much more than maybe 5-10 feet around them. It's not a lot, but you know that these are the kind of things that people have described when scrying has been done to them.
Okay, and I'll tell that to Eloise, and I'll say, I think you're being scryed on, and if I were you, I would try my very best to not let it happen. Use all the wisdom you have to, when you start to feel that, shut it out immediately, because we definitely don't want to be giving our position out to any enemies. I'm sure you're aware of this.
But who do we know who would be that powerful?
Maybe the bard. I don't know.
Hey, Golden Tongue. Definitely top of the list.
And I ask Eloise, how many spell slots do you have, by the way, right now, currently?
Right now?
Right now.
I have 2 first, 1 second, 2 third, and 2 fourth.
I say, before you go to sleep tonight, I think you should burn half of your spell slots to make as many good berries as you can, and stick them in the handy haversack.
They're only good for 24 hours.
Yeah,
You're right. And if you do it before you go to bed, then we'll have all of those good berries tomorrow, and we could use them if we need healing.
I don't know if good berries help like that.
They do 1 HP.
Oh,
They give 1 HP.
okay.
So if after, say, I was pretty beat up the past few big encounters, except for the last one. And if I had, a handful of good berries, I could have eaten them and gained my hit points, at least a good chunk of them back. So I'm not asking you to burn all your spell slots, just in case we are ambushed in the middle of the night. You'll need some. But I think you should burn half of them to create as many good berries as you can. That way, tomorrow, we could have a good amount of healing at hand to be used within 24 hours.
Okay.
And as Veil realizes he's been chatting too much and almost seems too concerned with Eloise's well-being, he kind of shakes it off and says, you should probably get to sleep soon and stop letting people spy on you. And I walk away.
I like it.
So is it only Blood and fucking Apollyon that aren't in love with her now? Apollyon's gay and Blood's not that way yet. So maybe eventually.
What is
Listen.
the token, though?
There's no...
Hey,
Veil's only
no
love is
judging.
books.
No judge. Hey, you also sent the owl, being real sweet with the owl. It's no judging, bro. No judging.
It's not... So, the owl is his own thing. He's his own... It's not me. It's not Veil who's sending it. That's why Veil always rolls his eyes when it happens. It's the owl doing it on its own. The Fae who is
Like
the
the
owl.
skeleton doing his own thing just a little bit when he's not being commanded.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's not... I don't know. I guess I need to clear that up just in case anybody was wondering. It is not Veil who is sending Jareth out, and it's not Veil who is sending the skeleton over to Liam. They are doing it on their own.
Right. Sure.
Well,
All right.
but
Telling you.
what if the person who's watching
case.
me, because it's always me, do you guys ever feel like that?
No.
Can't say that I do.
So,
Veil
so then
opens
what
his
if it's
portable hole and
broken?
sees... Veil opens his portable hole and sees, 24 eyes staring back at him, blinking, and looks at Eloise as she asks if it feels like somebody's watching her.
Well, has Vulcan ever done this to you before?
Well, I mean, sure. If either of us were out for longer than we said, just to check in, but I mean, usually I can tell that it's him.
Well, maybe some of the time it is, and some of the time it's someone else. You seem very popular at the moment.
Yeah, but if it was one of the people who don't like us, why would they only focus on me? Why wouldn't they check in on all of us?
It's a good question.
The bard likes me. Apparently.
Maybe they think you'd filled out. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
There's not much we can do about it tonight, that's for sure.
That's true. Thoughts this deep are not going to help with sleeping.
Indeed. So with those thoughts still kind of lingering on everybody's mind, and y'all just kind of not sure, you all settle in for your rests. So who is taking first watch?
I will, Veil will, and I'll take the second one as well.
I volunteer for last watch this time.
Okay. I
Well-
can take third.
And
Okay.
Goodness, I have hiccups.
So, Veil, you sit down and begin the first part of your watch while everyone kind of snuggles in and gets some rest. Go ahead and make your first perception check of the night.
All right. That is a 13.
You settle in, staying inside the dome because you can't look, you can't be outside of it. And you have to reach your hand out every so often and push some of the snow out of the way to kind of look through. And it's dark. And the snow is coming down very, very heavily at this point. So much so that when you pull your hand back out into the dome, there's a little bit of frost still on it that kind of clings and melts as it hits the heat of the dome. You don't see much. You have 60 feet of dark vision, and it's very dark out there, so you're not seeing a whole lot beyond the dome. But it is completely quiet, and other than snow, every time you look, you do not see anything else.
Okay. And I'm going to send Jareth out to kind of stay up there and also patrol the skies.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. Go ahead and make a perception check with Jareth as well, as you send him up overhead into the night, circling around the dome.
That's a 13.
He can't see much more than you can, honestly. While he does have dark vision, it is snowing, and not seeing a whole lot. Nothing comes near that Jareth can see either. And that's for... I'm going to go ahead and use that for both of your watches.
Okay, perfect. Then before I go do my trance, I'm going to reassert, burn my spell slots to reassert control over my zombies.
Okay. You do that and then settle in and have a good night's rest. So who is taking third watch?
Me.
Okay. Eloise. Go ahead and make your perception check for the night. Are you staying inside the dome or are you going outside of it?
I'll go sit outside of it. The cold doesn't bother me too much. Perception. Oop. Oof, 11.
You put your goggles of night on and step outside from the dome. And as you do, you're kind of just make this big O Eloise-sized hole that pushes through. And you kind of push yourself out of the little bit of an igloo. It's not too thick. It's probably only like half an inch or more of snow. It's not, like I said, it's not a lot, but you do create that as you walk through. You do create that hole, and it's you look back and it's just
yes.
there. And there's an Eloise-sized hole right there.
Yes.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, you walk around and look through the snow, and as you're kind of patrolling around the dome, you can't help but reflect for a moment how much the mountain here covered in snow reminds you of home. And you feel a little bit of a twinge, not nostalgia per se, but of remembrance. As you're walking around, you kind of do a nice long circuit around the dome, and as you're coming back, there is something you notice. There are two arrows sticking out of the snow about 8 feet from the dome itself, which you have a hard time finding because it's just a big dome of snow. But luckily, you do find the shape, and you do see the hole that you had created is starting to fill up. But the one thing you do see are two arrows in the snow. Sticking
can I go
down.
over to them?
You can. They're sticking down in the snow, arrow pointed down. And there are two of them. One of them has kind of a gray-looking thing on top of it. And as you get close, with your dark vision, you don't see any color, but you realize that it's an animal pelt. On the other one is on the second arrow is a piece of paper.
Okay, I'm going to pick them up and take them in with me. Gonna open up the piece of paper.
Sorry, I was chewing.
That's okay.
We allow time for chewing on this show.
Mm-hmm. So you open up the piece of paper, and it's not very large. It was tied to the arrow, kind of at an angle, so it was looking like a T in the snow when you saw it. There are 4 words on it at the top. It says, "Nice shot. Come alone." And at the bottom, you find a sketch in charcoal of the area you passed through, not about an hour or so before you made camp.
Oh.
The other thing, as you're looking at it, you kind of roll it out, and it is an animal fur. It's a rabbit fur.
Well, at least somebody made use of it. I'm gonna hold the rabbit fur. I'm gonna go over to Blood, and I'm gonna very not gently just kind of like smack him in the chest to wake him up for his watch.
You do notice that as you pick up and clutch it to your chest, it's been perfectly clean. There's not a drop of fat along the edge of that skin, and it looks like it was perfectly cleaned and ready to be cured. And you just smack him down in the chest, and Blood. Oh, what the?
Why? I was chasing bunny rabbits.
Speaking of which, someone left you a present. I'm gonna drop the pelt onto his face.
You drop the note too. I'll be like, oh, goddamn.
No, I'm gonna wait until you get up, and then I'll hand you the note and the arrows.
Joe, Blood, when she hands you the arrows, you do recognize the two of them. One of them is one of those +1 arrows that you shot, and the other one was one of the masterwork arrows that you had found around the dome previously.
Sweet.
Are you sure you want to go alone, though?
Well, this is the first positives. I mean, and it's directing us back. Where was it?
An hour back the way we came.
You.
It didn't say now, or it doesn't say when either.
Well, I guess you can decide in a little bit because we're going on break. So, stay tuned, everybody. We will be back in about 10 minutes when we will find out what exactly they're going to decide to do. Stay tuned.
Oh, he's deaf.
Howdy, everybody. We are back. And when we last left off, the Fab Five were continuing to go over their mountain. They had just camped for the evening, and on the third watch, which was Eloise's watch, she had found a couple arrows, one with a rabbit hide on it, one with a note asking for an archer to come alone. She had woken up Blood from a stone, smacked him on the chest, and given him the note. And so that's where we find ourselves. So, everybody, and a pretty kitty, hello there. So, what do you want to do? And little Letty doesn't look like she wants to be on screen.
He is rambunctious and never sits still. So I'm gonna throw you on my bed now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen.
This is gonna be
Bye.
fun. Whee! Okay. So Fab Five, Blood and Eloise are awake. Maybe a couple of you might have heard this and turned over in your sleep, mumbling about people yelling. But other than that, what do y'all want to do?
Well, I mean, I guess I've gotten 6 hours, so I've kind of gotten my long rest in at this point. I mean, we could wake up Liam and have him do a watch.
You have not gotten a full long rest. I'm just gonna say.
So when did she? How long? Did she
been
walk
about
away to wake me up?
It's been about an hour into her watch, so you've gotten some rest, but not all of it.
Well then,
I would have waited until the end of my watch to wake him up.
Of Eloise.
Okay, too many people talking at once. Eloise, I did hear you say you would have waited till the end of your watch, and then so you didn't just see the notes immediately go in and then wake him up?
No. No, I would have waited.
Okay. Liam, what were you saying?
Veil took 2 hours. She took 1, so he's had 3 hours of rest so
No.
far.
Veil took 4 hours.
Yeah,
she
Veil did 2 watches, which was 4 hours. She was finishing her watch, which was the 3rd. So if she wouldn't have rushed off, because that's honestly how it sounded like to me, is that
Yeah,
I remember
no,
she did say she waited to wake me up from my watch.
Yeah.
okay.
Is what she said.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So you wait until you. Well, he didn't have the last watch.
I didn't.
Liam did, but
well, I would have waited till the. Please don't
Well, I've
turn my
got it
computer
now.
off, Letty. Please don't press the power button.
But yeah. Anyway, I will allow you to say you would have waited till the end of that watch. So yes, you could have gotten a full night's rest. And Liam, you're probably waking up at this point as well from hearing all this.
So yeah, I suppose, I mean, if Liam is awake, I could just tell him and be like, I mean, he does want me to come alone. Now, I'm not saying that this is a smart idea, but I mean, you can let them rest, because they need to get a long rest. They need their... Veil and both Apollyon took quite a beating in that fight. I mean, I can head out.
I don't know. I think they were a bunch of savages. They didn't respond to my request of parley.
They may not have seen your arrow, though.
They sent one back in response.
Well, it doesn't mean they saw your arrow say, let's parlay. They just said, hey, get off, I gave you your last chance.
If you want to go, you're going by yourself, because I'm not going with you. A bunch of savages.
I'll go just in case something bad happens.
What do you think this guy wants?
Are you awake?
Well, she hasn't
guess.
laid down
Everybody-
yet.
Apollyon.
Only you guys.
Well,
are
I guess he had 6 hours of sleep.
Probably took
too.
2 hours. Took 1 watch with Veil, I would assume.
No, he didn't take a watch at all. So
Yeah, Veil.
Yeah, he take a watch.
I'll tell you what, big guy.
1 watch by himself and 1 watch with somebody else.
normally, yes, but he just said, I'm taking the first 2 watches, and nobody contradicted him, so that's what we did. Apollyon, Liam and Blood and Eloise are all still awake and kind of talking loudly, and Apollyon, I'm sure you would have been able to wake up at hearing this.
Yeah, if everybody's like talking, we're in a tiny little tent. I imagine I wake up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could take the big guy and just have him wait a little bit while I walk ahead.
If you go by yourself, if you go with Apollyon, they're not going to show up.
Well, then I'll just go on my own. I don't care. It's not the first time I would have done it.
I mean, we do have the sending stones if we need them, but it's an hour away.
Yeah, I mean, give me the stone, and if something happens, I mean, I could get away rather quickly. So I would give myself better than fair odds at escaping from them and being on the run until I can get a hold of you.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys hang out. Just maybe once everybody wakes up, once Veil is finished sleeping or trancing, whatever he's doing, just head back my way. And I guess that they had a crude map on it. On that paper.
It did have a crude map on it, and as you look at it, you can see where it describes a little bit of the terrain that you had passed probably an hour and a half or so before you made camp for the night. You recognize a little bit of the peaks and the walls that it's drawn on, and for being something that's just written in like simple charcoal, it's fairly clear where it is it's directing you. It's almost as this type of thing has been done more than once.
Well, then I will go alone.
Okay.
And he'll.
Sounds good. I'll finish my long rest.
She still got the. No, you got to take somebody's got to take the last watch.
Yeah, you're on the watch, Liam.
And so yeah, he'll give the stone to Eloise and say, "Well, just be ready."
Well, if I'm the last watch and Apollyon hasn't gone yet, isn't it his watch next?
Well, It can be either of yours.
Now you're both
entirely up
awake,
to you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me.
I think the story is going to shift anyway, so hopefully you don't get attacked as soon as I leave. If he falls asleep again.
I hope we do. That'd be fun.
Well, I'm just... Oh, God, this is a great morning. God, this can't all mornings be like this? And then it's just you guys dying behind me.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, who's taking the last watch? Who's Eloise? Are you staying awake? You still haven't gotten a full rest yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Yeah, it's on you. You got to get your sleep in. I'll take that last watch.
Okay. So Eloise hands you over the sending stone. You hold on to yours. Blood holds on to his, and you watch as Blood pushes his way through the outer snow of the dome and disappears into the night. Go ahead, Liam. While this is going on, you're gonna be doing your watch for the night. Are you doing it inside the dome or outside the dome?
No, I imagine I'm outside the dome trying to get a brisk pace going just to keep warm.
And you definitely need to do that because it is pretty damn cold. Now, the snow at this point is it was very heavy at one point throughout the night, and you can see there's quite a bit of snow on the dome, but it's tapered down since then, and there's a little bit falling, but it's more than a flurry, but less than an actual full-on storm. It is very cold though, and you wrap your blanket around you, huddling in as much as you can, and you do a lot of wide, heavy marches around the dome to keep warm as you're doing this. Give me a perception check and an athletics check.
That's good.
18 for perception, and a natural 20 for athletics for a 22.
Very nice. So, you give yourself a bit of a simple trot, and you start going around the dome, keeping to the wall as much as you can, going out around, and you're keeping watch the entire night. Now, Blood from a Stone. You stepped out first, and you started heading into the darkness, following the map. And you walk for a while. It is very cold. You're a tabaxi. You do have some fur on you, and you have your cloak, and you probably even wrap your blanket around you a little bit more to keep yourself as warm as possible, because it's quite chilly. You follow the path that the map lays out, and it takes you a good hour or so. Heading off around the cliff side and along the mountain.
Can you just say real quick, when Jareth, he was out there circling, I like to think he would have followed Blood, not on my command, but just done it, seen him walking and was intrigued. I'll leave that up to you to decide if he does or not.
I don't mind if the owl is kind of circling around overhead, keeping an eye on Blood. He wouldn't be able to relay anything to you, but he could definitely do that. Yeah, that's no problem.
Okay. All right.
So I'm sorry, I spoke not for. It's been about 45 minutes that you walked along this trail, and it winds its way down the mountainside away from your camp. The path eventually leads you to a curve of a cliffside and past a few small bushes and trees to reveal a small hollow just off the main path. And you move stealthily around the bushes, and as you do so, you realize there's a little bit of light illuminating the area behind the shrubs.
Okay.
You kind of peek your head around the shrubbery and look towards the light, and you do see a very small fire that has been built in a bit of an indentation in the ground, complete with a small wooden spit that seems to be roasting the carcass of a small rabbit. The fire itself is very small, like it's barely the size of the rabbit itself. And as you're looking at it, you kind of realize that if you hadn't actually walked along this path and looked towards the hollow, you probably would have never seen the light to begin with. It was that put out of place. You can tell as somebody who has been instructed as a ranger, that this individual has had very extensive training in the same areas.
Okay. It's all coming back to him.
But there you stand, hiding behind this bush, looking at the campfire. So, what are you wanting to do?
Do I see anybody in there?
Make a perception check.
Oh, it's 14.
You do not. The hollow itself is kind of curved in the cliffside, and there's nobody over there. There's a little bit of brush and a little bit of tree and shrub, but not a whole lot. And your eyes do a very tight scan around, but you do not see anybody there.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna end up walking in, but before he does, he's gonna start doing some kind of like click sounds that he probably used to, like announcing sounds that like he and his father or the other hunters would have made while they were hunting together to let themselves know that there were other people around. So he'll just kind of give that, instead of calling something out, he's just gonna make a few of those clicks with his like kind of like that, and then he's just gonna
Sure.
walk in because he was invited.
And you walk towards the fire, and you do see that the rabbit is on the spit, and the side it's on, you probably want to turn it, or it's going to start to burn.
Yeah, he will. He'll even bust out one of those bottles of wine that he took from the house.
Okay. You set down the bottle of wine in the dirt next to the fire, and you begin to turn the spit a little bit so the fire doesn't overcook the rabbit. And you spend about 5 minutes or so kind of busying yourself with this. After a moment, you hear a voice right behind your ear. It says, "I should have killed you all, and be done with it. But I admit I was a little curious." And you kind of look behind you, and you see a shape for half a moment in the light that kind of steps backward, and as it steps backward, it just disappears into the darkness past your vision.
Cute trick. I'm gonna hold up the whistle, be like, "I'd love to know how you made this."
From the brush just beyond you have the 60 feet of dark vision, and you have a little bit of light illuminating a little bit beyond, so you can see the shrubs and brush kind of around you, and beyond that it's just darkness. And from that darkness, the voice kind of replies, "Any idiot can whittle if they got time and patience. I got
Yeah.
plenty of both."
But Joe arrows, they are not. I mean, they are exceptional work. I mean, this is a little bit. I mean, that's a lot of time if you took that much care into making these.
A wide, muscular form steps out from the shadows and into the firelight in front of you. In the dim light, you can make out the gray-green skin of an orcish woman, clad in furs and leather. An unstrung bow is held in her hand like a walking stick in front of her. And at her side, you can see a very ornate-looking quiver, heavily embroidered, that is full of arrows. She also has a short sword at her hip and a spear across her back. The orc's hair is long and braided back from her wide and grizzled face, which is both heavily scarred and wrinkled with age. Her eyes are very dark, almost pure black orbs behind her skull, and as she's kind of looking at you, she has a bit of a smirk when you mention her arrows. Then she says, "These things are just learned over time. It's not hard for anyone to do this, and I've had plenty of practice."
There's only one other.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna make a comment on it. If you want to keep her talking, then I'll make my comment.
She says, I honestly kind of lost my train of thought for a second, but
Oh,
anyway,
shit, sorry.
that's all good. She says, "Well, you asked for a parlay, so here we are.
He'll be happy that you
What do
said
you
that.
What do you want? And why are you on my mountain?
We actually don't need anything from you, and we're only on your mountain out of necessity. How often do you look down into that little lake and the island down there below?
The lake has nothing to do with me, only my mountain.
Alright. Well, there's a very sinister, evil group that used to use that island in the middle of that lake. I don't know, really. A base. They had some special creature there that would warp and twist the minds of its followers. We killed it. We are escaping. But they don't know where we went. We were just crossing the mountain to get to Bradfordshire. So we are not, I promise, we're not here to hurt you. We're not here to take your mountain, to take anything from you.
And the moment you say that, she just laughs. The first loud sound you've heard out of this woman, she has just this barking laughter. And she kind of coughs a little bit and spits to one side before she continues. And I could have killed any one of you at any point. You're
Why not?
just lucky. I've gotten a little soft in my age. There was a time that if I would have seen any one of you on my mountain, you would have been buried in the dirt before you hit that cliff.
You know, there was a time where I would have killed just about anybody that looked at me wrong. But things are changing. Maybe things are changing for you as well.
Well, things are changing, all right. That group you speak of and that army that goes back and forth. Anyone who's seen them. And if you've had any dealings with those, you're bigger idiots than I would have guessed.
Well, it wasn't that we actually tried the first time. We were just 4 dumb assholes traveling along helping some people carry a chest. And we walked into that army. And we ended up killing about 100 of them that first couple nights. But now it's like we're intertwined with them. We can't escape them. But they are very bad, and we are trying to stop them.
Then you're even bigger idiots than I thought.
Trust me, I would not disagree with you there. My father would probably be right next to you saying that to you.
The woman kind of steps a little bit closer. And she walks around to the side of the fire, making it very clear that she's keeping the fire between you and her. But she does bend down a little bit and move the rabbit. And your eyes are very keen. You're watching for any movement, any sign of attack. And go ahead and make an insight check real quick.
Also probably got a little bit of reverence for that fucking shot she put in his side. Oh my god! What is with these fucking ones?
You know, there's just... You're not sure. You can't tell about this woman. Is she about to kill you? Is she actually amused by you? It's difficult. You're not sure. But her eyes never move from you. Even when she's adjusting the rabbit, even when she moves to pick up the bottle that you had set down, and you watch as she picks up the bottle and very slowly takes a dagger out from her belt and holds it up, like in her hand like this, like I'm not going to throw it at you. And then she hits it along the top of the bottle, breaking the top off just under the cork. She rubs the blade along the break of the glass a couple times and then takes a big long swig of it. And sets it back down on the fire and steps back.
How long have you been up here on this mountain, if I may ask?
She kind of eyes you up and down for a moment. Probably longer than you've been alive, young pup.
Have you ever spent any time in the gentler wastes?
Oh, everybody's been there once or twice.
Well,
For me, it was an army campaign. People from people from the hegemony going down to settle unrest. Oh, I was there dealing with all that shit.
would that have been the tabaxi that you were down there to deal with?
That was way before my time.
And the only reason why I ask is the only other person I've ever seen make arrows like this was my father. And I mean, I never could master it as well as he could, and yours are even better than his. So I was just only asking if you happen to have ever been. I don't know.
Make a persuasion check.
Somehow I actually have proficiency in that. Oh, and I get a good roll here. 18.
She kind of eyes you one more time. About 50 years ago, during the uprising at Ranivika, that was when the hegemony sent an army down, and I was a mercenary scout. Part of a team was sent in early. There was a tabaxi there once. What was his name?
It's fucked up. I actually forgot what I gave his fucking father's name.
Really? You forgot your
it's-
father's name? Oh my
I'm
god.
sure it's been so long since I've had to worry about his father.
Well, you
I'll
tell
find-
me. Did was your father a mercenary that went up north? If so, maybe it was him.
He quite possibly could have. Because Blood's 25 and his father was, the way I'd always said his father was, I was thinking he's like at least 40 to 50 years old when he had Blood. I was thinking he was like an old man teaching his kids. Yeah, it very well could have been him. Him or, somebody else in the...
If only he had a name.
If only you had a name.
Because I
If
can't
only you
find
had-
my actually fucking notes for that. But anyway, yeah, it's quite possible.
She kind of eyes you a little bit and says, "War makes strange bedfellows from a lot of people." It's where I
It
met
most
my
certainly
wife
does.
many, many years ago. So who knows, kid?
Is it
I
unfortunate
suppose-
that she has passed?
Oh, she passed a long time ago. But not so long as to see the side of our mountain.
Well, then he will reach down very gently, pick up the bottle of wine, and he's going to be like, "A toast to your wife." And he's going to take a drink. And then he'll hand her the bottle.
And she'll take the bottle, take a big swig as well, and kind of eye you and hands it back, and she says, "So if you're just passing through, what is it you want to do? Just get to the other side?"
Well, in one of our most recent dealings with that cult, one of our number he took a curse of some kind from one of them, and we're trying to get to a healer in Bradfordshire. So we are trying to get to the other side. I mean, I'm torn now, though, because I would most definitely like to learn more from you, but I don't want to impose.
She kind of laughs again. "I ain't looking for a student, kid."
Well, my father taught me respect, so I figured I'd ask.
If you want to show me some respect, and you want to get off my mountain unmolested, how would you like to see how good of an archer you really are?
Well, I am a vain creature, so I would gladly accept that challenge, ma'am.
How watchful are you? You happen to see something big and feathery circling across the range?
We saw that large creature more than once, yes.
It's been up here near a month. Hasn't come near my side, but Close enough. We got plenty of things out here on the mountain. Frost giants are assholes, but they've learned not to come near my side.
Well, we killed a couple.
Oh, I saw. And I was laughing the entire time. But you at least seem to have a bit of skill.
I do what I can.
Bring me 4 feathers from that rock. You do so, I might make it worth your while. Not just for getting off the mountain.
Alright. Do you recall the last time you saw this creature?
Oh, it's been staying clear to the west. For most of the time I've seen it, but I suppose you give it a pretty enough target, it might even come this way. I saw what you were doing out there, turning into spiders, creating domes, doing all sorts of stupid shit. Figure a group like yours might be resourceful enough, and I can make I can make arrows off a few feathers for probably the rest of my life.
Alright. Tell you what, you got a deal. Now, I gotta convince my fellows of this, but I think I could probably make it worth their while.
You amuse me, kid. So I'll give you a chance.
I'm young and dumb, man.
You keep going the way you have been, or maybe go to that peak and deal with the rock. You do that, and I ain't gonna kill you. You come near my property, you come near my home, and I will put an arrow in each one of your throats. I don't care who your daddy was.
I wouldn't expect any less.
And she steps back up, picks up the bottle of wine, looks at you and says, "We'll see, kid. We'll see." And she begins backing up, and as she hits the edge of your dark vision, she disappears completely.
Ooh, excited. All right. Well, he'll walk his way out, and as he's walking out, he knows she's fucking watching. She can hear. He's like, "I didn't catch your name, but my name is Blood from a Stone." And he'll just start walking.
And you keep walking. And as you make your way into the darkness and begin rounding the cliff, heading back towards the camp, you hear... Go ahead and make a perception check.
Oh my god, it was on a 19 and it fell to the fucking 1.
You thought you heard something for a second, and then you look up as an owl is hooting, and Jareth has been circling around above you this entire time.
Look, it's time to come down. I rest on my shoulder for the walk back. I can fly anymore.
Yeah, move your... There you go.
Yeah, I'll tell him just whistle to him and be like, just come on down.
And you do make your way back down. You do make your way back down and head back to the camp. And I'm sure this entire encounter is very heavy on your mind. But, Liam, your watch goes by relatively, what's the word I'm looking for? Uneventful.
Yeah.
You spend the entire time walking around the camp, keeping as warm as you can. And as the sun is rising up overhead and the group is beginning to stir and climb up, you can hear them a little bit. There you see Blood from a Stone trudging around the side of a cliff, heading back towards you. Still wrapped up in his blanket. The snow has pretty much ended by this point. And other than there's quite a bit on the ground, it's a fairly clear day.
What you learn from the savages?
Well, she is not a savage, and she is one. By the way, she did get your parlay, so that's why she asked me to come. So be happy that she got the parlay.
Right after she almost killed Veil with an arrow. Yes, of course, in response. I remember.
Well, she is a rather prickly character. She was afraid we were coming after her, and I explained that we were not. So she's given us a couple of choices. Now, one of them, I mean, she said we can just go ahead and leave. You know, no problems. She will not accost us really either way unless we come back towards her home. But she asked us if we would be willing to do something for her. She said she'd make it worth our while.
And just what would this tiny little, very easy to complete task be?
I don't know about very easy, but it's going to be very fun. You can just kind of see his little the little cat teeth, just when he smiles, he's just very, very excited about this possibility. Do you recall when we were on the boat going to the Varen that we saw that winged creature flying over the mountains?
Aye, the thing that everybody said, oh, I'm so glad that we don't have to tangle with that thing. Is that the one they're talking about?
It could be. Now, she was saying just off of 4 arrows, or 4 of her 4 feathers from that thing, that she could be making dynamite arrows for the rest of her life. But I'm wondering if we could kill that creature, we could make money off that creature. Plus, she is saying that she has got something that would make it more than worth a while.
So, let me understand the scenario. We don't do her a favor and we leave, or
She
we
might
do her a favor and then we do her an even better favor by delivering these feathers to her, in which we get what in return?
I don't know, but I have a feeling we won't have to deliver them to her. I think she'll be watching us the entire time. She saw us kill the giants.
Oh, delightful. So she's sending us against a giant bird, and she's going to watch the whole time. This sounds delightful, Blood. Do you understand why I don't want to do it?
It actually does sound like a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually rather intrigued.
So all of you are pretty much awake at this point, hearing this conversation. The sun is bright in the sky. You've all had a long rest. And you've just been hearing Liam and Blood argue for the last 10 minutes about an interesting idea.
I mean, at the minimum, that I doubt that bow would be on the table, although it was very nice.
All right,
But you got to think...
At minimum, you're taking us, what, 3 days out of our way to go kill a bird that may kill us, and then 3 days back, you want us to spend almost an entire week just hunting down a bird to please a woman that you just met for a prize that you're not sure of what the prize is.
Is it going to be 3 days? Is that what she's defined this bird?
She didn't say anything about a time. She just said, hey, there's a rock a few mountains over that's been flying around. Go kill it, and I'll give you something cool. That's literally all she said.
You don't have to do it. He's just presenting the idea.
We could always
You
come
remember
back.
we all got up the mountain very skillfully, and nobody fell once. Oh, wait, no. We lost many zombies along the way, and many of us face-planted quite often. Now, if we're to trek through the mountains further, you don't even want to get more reparations. You don't want to get more gear. You just want to go.
No, we will get something from her. Trust me, she would not offer this. That's the one thing I could glean for her. She would not make the offer. She would have just killed us if she didn't.
I'm so evil.
All right.
It's great.
Where's the boon?
To us, it's not until after we complete her task.
But we also can harvest the parts of a creature and sell them for quite a bit in the town.
What was promised to you?
You understand I could die on this trek.
Well, then we don't have to do it. I am just offering it.
Was there a time limit on this offer that she
There was not a
presented?
time limit, but I think if we leave the mountain and come back, she's not going to be happy.
Well, the rock is not on this mountain, it's on another mountain, right? So if we go to Bradfordshire, fix Liam,
Well,
and then we can go over to the other the mountain that the rock is actually roosting on, and then come back.
well, it's only been here a short time. So who knows where the rock is going to end up going for.
So what were you told you would receive if you brought this back?
She said she'd make it worth my while, but she wasn't going to give me what she was going to tell me what she was going to give. But I can tell you right now, we'd all be dead if she willed it. So that potentially could be part of the gift. She could have
Giving
killed
us something we already have is not a gift.
Well, you gotta think, she's been on this mountain quite a long time. She has probably gotten quite a bit from more dumbass adventurers coming up this fucking thing.
Well, you're welcome to go hunt down that goddamn rock all by yourself, but I need some healing, my friend. There's no way I can endure this journey. It's a miracle I'm still alive after the giants and all that shit we've been through.
I only said it was an offer. I wasn't saying you had to take it.
How about we go to Bradfordshire?
If we leave the
Heal Liam
mountain,
up.
we are not coming back, because she will kill us.
Well, we have to leave the mountain anyway to find this rock, don't we?
Well, she just said it was in the nearby range. We come back anywhere here close, I'm not going to take that risk. So if we leave now, we are not coming back.
Look, I for one am all for a good monster hunt, but is this really taking us too far off the path to our current mission?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how long it would take us to take care of this. All I'm saying now is I gave you the offer. And I'm saying now if we leave, I will not come back. I will not disrespect the offer she made me. And I also am not going to risk it. So it's up to you. We can stay and do it, or we can go. Either way,
You don't think we'll be able to do both?
It's up to
we
you.
cannot leave.
It was either my life or her offer. Which would you take?
I'm telling you right now, I said I would take whatever the group decides. I'm just presenting.
I vote against. I'm sorry.
Well, that's fine.
I can't vote for you. I love you, bud, but I can't.
I say we leave. Well, how many of these feathers did she say you needed? She needed.
Well, she only needed 4. She asked for.
Well, I say we go heal Liam.
I'm telling you right now, if we leave,
10 feathers.
If we leave, it will be suicide to come back.
Did she say that?
She literally said if we come back her way again without doing this, she will kill us. She said she will put an arrow in each of our throats.
Have you ever heard
So we'll come back.
people who went up against the rocks before? Because I have.
Yeah, I have actually.
Right one. I'll tell you that much right now. They're beasts. They're gigantic beasts.
You're saying that she said, if we come back here without doing this, she'll put an arrow in our throats. So we go, we heal Liam, we go do the task, and we come back.
I think if we leave the mountain, I mean, if you want to take the risk.
No.
I'm always
you
willing
said
to.
her exact words were, if we come back without doing the task, we will be coming back without doing the task. It will just be a few days later than what she's. Well, she didn't even give a time limit. So I say we go heal Liam up at Bradfordshire, and then we'll go do this the side mission for you, and we'll come back with the feathers she asked for.
Well, hopefully she
we'll be
doesn't
good.
kill us. But I am still intrigued with that, but I don't know if I want to come back after that. But, I mean, if you're suicidal enough, Phil, I'll go in with you.
It sounds like someone that threatens to kill you no matter almost any of the scenario is suicidal anyhow.
He's got a code of honor, though. That much I can tell.
I understand your code of honor, but I don't understand her code of honor.
I understand the way she thinks. He's like my father. I have respect.
She's like your father. That's so strange.
She's the
So
same
here, let's put it to a
mindset.
vote. I vote that we go heal Liam, and then we can go take on this. Attempt to take on this rock. That is my vote. Liam, what's your vote?
I want the straightest route to Bradfordshire, no matter what.
Well, that's the way we're going anyway.
And then afterwards,
No plans afterwards. I'd like to get to Weston to achieve my beer eventually, but whatever we do in between is up to y'all. I could care less.
are you willing to attempt to take on the rock once you're fully healed?
I'd stand a much better chance if I could endure at least one blow from the motherfucker.
Huh? That settles it. Blood, what's your vote?
Oh, I'll come back.
Oh yeah, let's heal up Liam and then go on that monster hunt.
I'm sorry.
And Eloise?
Sounds good to me. Well, I mean, is the rock really hurting anyone?
Yes.
Actually, yes, it does.
Veil says without any knowledge if it is hurting anybody.
Yeah, it hasn't killed anybody on the mountain, so as far as I know. But yes.
All she asked for were the feathers. We don't have to kill the rock in order to achieve what your goal is.
Well, if we're
We
gonna
could
go
find
to
its nest.
oh, you sweet drow. Yeah, we could do that. Have you ever faced a rock? I mean, the rocks are rather.
I heard stories, but it's enough. Like I've said before, it's enough to not want to engage one yourself. It's destroyed entire parties.
I've seen parties take them down in the waist before. But yeah, they are rather large and rather dangerous. They really kind of need to be killed anytime they show up, Eloise. I'm sorry. They are not a helpful creature at all. And their parts are rather expensive. I can verify that.
Now, I will point out
seems
it's.
like we.
Oh, hold on a second. I will point out it's 9:32. So I think you should probably come to a consensus here soon.
Yeah, so I think
I'm
we've
down to
come
go
a
to
consensus.
go to Bradfordshire first.
Yeah, so I think that's what the consensus is. We're going to go to Bradfordshire, heal Liam up, and then from there, unless we come across anything more interesting in Bradfordshire, we'll take on the rock.
Our sidetrack.
What's
Yeah,
that?
Exactly.
What did you say, Kyle?
Unless we get sidetracked again from our current sidetrack, yeah.
Hey, you know, I love to sidetrack you. I love to just give you options, and then I wait for like 30 minutes for you guys to debate them. It's great. I love it. Okay, so as
One thing, the
Yep.
rock is relentless. The rock is ready
fuck.
for you.
God damn it!
The rock is gonna put the smackdown on us jabronis. And the rock is gonna see you at SummerSlam 21.
oh god damn, yeah. I'm disappointed in you all that we didn't get that sooner. But yes,
I was just waiting for the perfect time.
I know you were. I know you
Could
were.
have gone if yes, you know, but yeah. Let's get on our way then.
Okay, so you're heading continue to go northeast along the mountain and heading back towards Bradfordshire. As the dome disappears around Vale, all that snow just comes toppling down on all of you, and it's pretty interesting and a little bit fun. But you do all begin to trudge your way. So everybody, go ahead and give me athletics checks for the next leg of your journey, please, because you are in the snow. While this is flatland, it's not difficult normally. With the snow, it's become difficult terrain.
Oh, did everybody eat a good berry this morning?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
but how many-
Yeah, I'm sure you passed
I
that out to
rolled a
everybody.
net too.
Yeah, I rolled a 4.
Athletics.
Eloise, how many good berries do you have?
If we each eat one in the morning to keep us nourished, I have 30.
Perfect.
Okay. And so yes, you do. Before you all journey out, you do pass around the good berries, and everyone eats them, and does feel full. It's not like the greatest meal in the world, but you are nourished for the day.
So, Eloise, I'm going to ask for an extra one for Jareth.
Does
I got his
Jareth
father's
eat?
name.
No, for him to hold on to.
I just rolled a nat 20. How does it get me back to nat 2?
Oh, his father's name is Blazing Sunset, by the way. It's on my other laptop.
Blazing Sunset. Okay.
All right, so Jareth's going to clutch one in his talon.
And Jareth does hold on to one, and everyone eats one. And so let's see. What all did you roll?
I got a 4.
I got a 4 as well.
18.
14.
So for most of you, the next leg of your journey isn't too difficult. You spend your next 3 hours kind of trudging along through the snow, heading in the northeastern direction towards Bradfordshire. And after you reach a certain point, you begin to descend. Liam, you are just worn the fuck out. Like, waiting around for blood while you presented irritated the entire time. I'm sure there's a little bit of worry and a lot of walking around for that last leg of your watch, just stomping through the snow, worried about your friend. And as you continue on with your journey, you never really got much rest beyond that. While you did complete a long rest, you've pretty much been going nonstop since then. You took a minute to eat, you gathered up your things, but beyond that, you've just been walking. So this next leg of your journey is super difficult. And you do take a point of exhaustion from it.
Oof.
Veil.
No con save this time?
Oh yeah, I did. I was having you do con saves the last time, but no, not this time. It's just
Okay.
from the snow itself.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's a different situation.
It's just from the snow itself, and while you are going in a southern direction, you are dealing with it's knee deep or worse at this point. Veil, as you're walking, or as the zombies are walking you, and you're being carried by them, the snow is treacherous, and they're having a hard time keeping up. They're lagging behind the rest of the group the entire time. Even Liam, who is struggling to keep pace with everybody else and has fallen behind, you're behind him. And you lose 3 more zombies in the process.
3. Wow, all right.
Gotta kill more.
So, with these ones that, I'm assuming I put them down like the other ones.
Yeah, I'm just trying to narrate quickly.
Yeah, am I able to put them back in the bag of holding?
You could put them back in the bag of holding to turn them into
The
skeletons.
portable hole, yeah.
Yeah, you could. Or yeah, the portable hole. You could put them in the portable hole and reuse them once for skeletons.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I have 4 in the front and 3 on the sides and in the back.
Now, after the first 3 hours of travel, Eloise, give me a perception check, please.
21.
As you get to the last of the first 3 hours of your journey, and you're starting to get to that descending slope, heading along the mountain, you notice something out of the corner of your eye, and it catches your eye because it's so out of place. It's a blue jay that's flying around the mountain, and it kind of circles once or twice, and you lose sight of it for a moment, and then you catch sight of it again about 5 minutes later as you're all resting.
Blood
And
eyes
then-
up his bow.
And blood lines up. You see blood lining up
Oh,
his
do
bow as it begins flying down towards you, and it's flying towards Eloise right now. Blood. You have one reaction. What are you doing?
won't.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
He knows that she sent a blue jay, so he won't kill the bird.
Aw.
He remembers.
Aw. and Eloise comes running up and hits the bow out of your hand, and turns as this blue jay comes flying up next to you, and she's holding up her hands, and it comes flying down right into her hands. The bird, Eloise, looks directly at you. Hey, Dragonfly, it's been looking for you. Got your message, saw the
Roll
grove,
for initiative.
worried. Trying to find you, not easy. Keeping an eye on you, though. Give me a sign.
You cut out for a bit. I didn't catch the beginning part.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it one more time for you. Hey, Dragonfly, been looking for you. Got your message, saw the grove, worried. Trying to find you, not easy. Keeping an eye on you, though. Give me a sign.
You're adorable.
It wants him. It wants him. Oh my gosh. 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 Okay, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna figure this out.
And the blue jay is just looking directly at you as you just all watch Eloise start bouncing in place as she's holding this bluebird.
And I'm just gonna pet it and make sure, and if it has any ruffled feathers, just try and help unruffle them. And I'm gonna say,
I think it wants some gold. That's what Harry.
Oh my god, she should so make a dex save for her tail right now.
And she really does. Go make a dex save real quick as you're bouncing up and down, and your tail's kind of wiggling about in the snow.
5.
Blood was Dexter, so he makes one too. It should, 19 for him to stay on his feet after she goes nuts.
Yeah, the tail begins to wrap around you as she's bouncing up and down, and wraps around your leg, and she just goes down. Her feet go out from under her. You jump back. You're barely able to keep your feet. You kind of clutch the side of the wall as you're doing this. You're on your feet. Eloise is on her ass, and Snow is just on top of her, clutch all over her shoulders as some has fallen down from the mountainside onto her. But then the blue jay is just kind of looking at her. And it kind of it had flown away when she fell. Kind of circles a bit and stops, and is sitting on a rock right now, looking at you.
I taught a putty cat.
Oh my gosh. 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 Okay. A sign. What kind of sign?
Maybe when he's scrying on you is what he meant.
The bird's looking at you, and it looks like you can tell right now. It looks like it's getting ready to fly away.
Okay, buddy. I don't know but if you go back to him, can you tell him that heading to Bradfordshire? I hope I see him soon.
And as you say, I hope it flies away.
Throw a poster at it.
Bye.
And it goes flying off into the sky, away from you, heading in a northeastern direction.
Okay. And what direction are we heading in?
About that same direction.
Thereabouts.
Okay.
Tell you what. Well, he said he saw the grove. I'm guessing that was Feyweave Hollow. Was that Feyweave Hollow? Was that the name of it, or is that the fucking Tinkerbell's?
Feyweave Hollow is the one that we went.
Okay, I didn't know if it was that or it's Tinkerbell's home. I couldn't remember I got kids.
Why? Why would I call it Tinkerbell's home? What the hell is wrong with
Hollow? Feyweave Hollow. I couldn't remember if that's the name of this grove or the place where Tinkerbell lives.
Wow. Stop watching Disney.
I've got 3 fucking children, 13 and under. I've seen a lot.
I
right?
I feel your pain. Trust me, I feel your pain.
I think that might be. You said he saw the grove. I think that might be what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's sort of following in your footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps.
Yeah. I'm gonna. He might have just scryed on the grove too. But if we can hold on for 10 minutes, if we can just take a little pause here, I'm going to ritually cast Skywrite.
Okay. What are you doing in the sky?
I'm going to, in Druidic, write out Bradfordshire and make a little dragonfly.
Let's hope that orc woman doesn't speak
Is that
Druidic.
smart?
Well, it is Druidic.
Bedfordshire or bust.
So Eloise sits down,
It's
begins
done.
to ritually casting. You just all watch her drop. Like, she couldn't care less what the rest of you are doing. She just drops and begins ritually casting Skyride. And you're all just looking at her. And I'm sure some of you are like, what the hell? And some of you are like, come on, let's go. But she's ignoring you completely. And she casts the spell 10 minutes later. And in Druidic, you see these runes appear in the clouds just kind of mold and change, because it's been a very cloudy day today. The snow has not been falling, but the entire day has been overcast, and she just writes in the clouds, in Druidic, these odd-shaped runes that kind of go around, and it's very interesting. And at the end, you see a little shape. Go ahead, Eloise, make me a performance check.
Oh boy. Oh dear. Okay. Performance. 7.
Ooh. Can she take my inspiration and use it?
I mean, if you really want to use your inspiration for that,
Well, this is something that's important for her, so I'll let her have it.
go for it.
Aw, thanks.
Hopefully it's better. It's better.
Power of friendship.
We basically doubled it. Thank you.
Okay. And so you create a reasonable shape that appears to be kind of similar to a firefly, but it's definitely out there.
Dragonfly.
A dragonfly. And it's definitely out there. And it's in the clouds. You see the outline of the sky overhead, and a little light shines through it, and it's very beautiful. And you're kind of looking at it, and you're irritated with yourself because your druidic runes aren't the best, and they're not great. And the shape of the dragonfly, it's okay. With the 13, you definitely did a decent job, and you can tell the shape of it. But and that's what's there in the clouds right now.
Hey.
What does it say?
So are you continuing on with your journey, or are you going to stay right there?
No, we'll keep going.
Okay. So you get back up and look around, and okay, I'm done. And everybody's looking up and seeing the symbols, which none of them can read. They have no idea what they are. But you kind of give them the idea. You say, yeah, it means Bradfordshire, and that means me, and it's cool. And everyone's like, well, whatever. And you all continue on with your journey. Give me one more athletics check. And also, I want somebody to give me a survival check. With advantage, because you're all working together, but one of you is leading this journey, heading down the side of the mountain.
Now, does Lee have to do a disadvantage for the survival, or would it be even?
Athletics.
Yeah, it would be even.
I mean, do you want me to try I've got a +5. Anybody else got
Come on, Ranger. Give it another shot. That's all you, buddy. You can do advantage.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, what I was going to say, Liam, is even if you wouldn't have rolled at disadvantage. You just would have been a straight roll.
Right. No, but I rolled a disadvantage for my athletics, and that's a 16.
Okay. But that's fine.
24 on survival.
5 on the athletics for the zombies.
Oh, poor zombies.
So, about an hour and a half into your travel, 2 more zombies just trip and fall and break their necks as they land in the ground and slide down the side of the mountain. Completely gone.
Oh, so I can't even get those back.
Can't even get them back.
All right.
The rest of you, Eloise, you're going to take a point of exhaustion right now. You've been struggling to keep up, and it's getting worn. And you are having a difficult time keeping up with everybody else, trying to do it. 13, Apollyon, you don't take a point of exhaustion, but that's just what you had to roll to get there.
Okay.
But Eloise, you do have a point of exhaustion. Liam, you currently have 1 point of exhaustion. You've made it the 3 hours of your travel, and you're starting to go down the side of the mountain. And as you pause for a rest, up high in the air, You
Yep.
do see a shape. I'm going to say with your passive perception.
18, yeah. Shit.
You do see a shape. It's large. It's winged.
Oh, fuck, that's guy right. Oh.
And it seems to be moving around. Circling. Looking. It appears to be getting closer. And blood, it's just at your range. The edge of your range.
Yeah, he's gonna take a fucking shot.
Take your shot. All of you paused for a moment and to take your breath after moving for about 3 hours, and you do see a large shadowy
That's
shape.
not an advantage, sorry.
moving.
It's still 27.
It's
crit.
it's moving.
Nat 20.
So it's circling overhead, and you just see the shape in the light of the sky, which is slightly overcast. You can just see that shadow of a winged shape, long, outstretched wings, full body, that seems to just be moving around about the point where Eloise had created her skywrite. Blood, seeing this, lines up, looks at it, holds his +1 arrows. I'm assuming you're using.
Yeah, well, I didn't say anything. If you want to let me,
You don't have. You don't have to. It's up to you.
All right, I mean, no, I'll use one. Yeah.
If that was your first impulse, you grabbed it, lined it up. You're aiming. You see the giant bird flying overhead. You release your arrow. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Are you gonna let me do sneak attack, or
It was a sneak attack,
Okay,
and they have not
'cause-
gone in combat. They are just circling overhead.
But it's already a crit. I mean, unless you want to give me a double crit.
You
for
can't
that.
have a double crit,
I know. I was just asking. 'cause
but it is a crit, and it would have been an assassinate because of it. But you rolled a nat 20 anyway, and you rolled minimum damage, which is just hilarious.
Well, 2 4s and 2 1s. Ugh. 22 plus 11, 33.
So everyone's watching as Blood grabs his short bow, puts an arrow into it, lines up, watches this shadowy figure that's swooping about, giant winged shape. He fires the arrow. All of you are watching as the arrow flies up, strikes it immediately in the chest, directly in the center of it. The shape changes and begins falling down
Ooh.
towards the ground towards you.
Uh-oh.
As something that you had just shot changed its shape completely and is now plummeting towards you all. You all have 1 round before it hits basically about 100 feet in front of you.
It's falling out of the sky?
It is falling out of the sky down towards the ground. This giant shape just plummeting down towards you. You have literally 1 reaction time or 1 round to do anything if anyone wants to, as they see it's plummeting closer. It is not a bird shape, it is a humanoid shape.
I have nothing that can help.
Oh shit, I hope it wasn't your guy.
I have nothing.
It continues going down, falling downward. It's continuing to go downward. It literally had 1 round, and in that second moment, 6 seconds later, it poofs into a smaller bird and goes flying.
Oh.
Because I literally had to do the math for this. I'm not going to lie. I knew that's what Blood was going to do. And I actually did the math, and he had 1.5 of a round if he would have attacked. And he did. And in that moment, a wild shape was destroyed, and a person fell down. But he had 6 seconds, which was just enough to fucking change, to use a wild shape as a bonus action. And just before he hit the ground, this giant form poofed into a small bird and went flying and circles around once again and is looking at you. And he lands on the ground about 100 feet in front of you. Go ahead, Liam.
I had taken 2 shots when it got within 150 feet. I was already marked at disadvantage. I'm just going to take both those shots, so 25 and a 12.
Do it. So, The 25 would have hit if you would have
Well, it's
fired
a
it.
12 at disadvantage. Oh no, attacks aren't at disadvantage. It's only skill checks.
Yeah, only skill checks. So it would have hit.
Yeah.
So as this figure was plummeting down towards the ground, Liam raises his bow and fires, and the arrow goes flying out and hits it right half a second before it hits the ground, and then the bow.
I said 150 feet up.
Yeah, so it would have hit the body that was falling, and then in that 6 seconds, he has enough time to transform into a bluebird. And he transforms once again into a much smaller bird. And he comes flying around and lands on the ground. And in that immediate moment he lands on the ground, he poofs once again into a giant, massive form. Long, flowing green robes are all along his body. And as he stands up, you see a completely bald, gray head. And Eloise, the moment he hits the ground, is just running. She's running towards him, and she jumps and tackles him as he's standing up, and he just crumples under this hit and goes flying down, hitting the snow, sliding. She's riding him like a sled as he's sliding down the edge of this. I'm having him roll a dexterity saving throw.
I hope this is your friend, and I am sorry. But that was a damn good shot again.
And he rolled a 6, so he hits a rock, goes flying, ass over tea kettle in a giant arc. Eloise, make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh, God.
Oh, God damn it.
15.
15, you barely manage to land on your knees, and you're sliding down in the snow on your knees. He did not make it, however. 12 points more damage to him, half of that to you, Eloise, which is a 6. You got 6 points of damage.
Okay.
Oh, I'll just look at Leah and be like,
Okay.
all right, maybe are we the bad people? Maybe we shouldn't shoot first. Although, damn good shot.
It took 2 of you. I thought he was a fucking rock.
I did too. That's why I shot him.
So Eloise and this giant form goes sliding into the snow, lands, or just stops in a huge mound. Eloise comes sliding on her knees, creating another small one. And as you look up Eloise, you do see that familiar, large form, gray skin, deep green robe smudged with dirt and muck and grime that just always seems to be perpetually stained. But you do see the familiar tattooed face of your master, Vulcan. And he looks at you and he smiles. A few of his teeth are missing. Sorry, give me 1 second, Vale. A few of his teeth are missing. And he kind of spits a bit of blood as he smiles at you and he says, "Well, Dragonfly, apparently I can't fly this time." Blood, what were you saying?
I'm going to pull out the arrows and I'm going to cast a level 4 Cure Wounds.
Do it. What were you saying, Vale?
No, it's alright.
Blood will sheepishly walk up and be like, "Can I get that arrow back, please? It was a really nice arrow."
And Eloise just grabs the arrow and pulls it out of her mentor, and blood shoots out from his body as she's placing this cure wounds on him. And you see the wounds, the arrow holes mending as you're pouring your healing energy in him, and he's just looking down at you. And you can see Eloise. You've known him for a long time. You can see the pain and anguish on his face from the hits he took. But he just smiles and seems to be trying to hide it as he says, "I've seen many things in my time, little dragonfly. I ain't never seen me do a face plant before."
Yeah, I don't want to see you do that again either.
I'll hand that rabbit pelt. Be like, "You can clean up the blood with this."
He kind of places a hand on Eloise's shoulder, and he just smiles a little bit. And he chuckles, and I've seen most everything. I ain't never seen this before. Being shot at by a cat. Kind
But
of
you were a bird. What'd you expect?
Cat shot by a bud. Can't complain about that. And he places his hand on his chest, and as he does, you see another wave of healing get shot into him. And we're going to end it right there. So, thank
I
you,
almost killed her
everybody.
best friend.
You almost killed her best friend.
You
But
almost killed my father. Let's be clear.
But great place to end things for this evening. Sorry there wasn't a lot of combat, but this was a bit more of a character interaction type of episode, and I feel like it went just fine. So, for everybody here in Random Rhapsody and among the Fab Five, I want to thank you all for watching. Have a great evening. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Peace.
Woo!